while we wait until Danish connects, um, the problem of counterfeit detection is like universal. Like we have a huge problem even in our country. And I'll tell you an example that happened last year. We were doing some experiments for the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, and we needed like counterfeit notes. And usually when they find a counterfeit note, what they do is they destroy it immediately, right? So it's not easy even to make build models for it. So then they called us and they said, we found a lot of them, and it turns out some guy made these counterfeit banknotes and went to buy beret. And so what happens is like once he bought that, the people went to the bank, like the traders, and they found that like it was a lot of it, and they caught him. Do you know why they caught him? Because he was going around buying berets. And yeah, so I think Danish is online. Thank you, Danish, for your presentation. And any questions from the audience? While the audience comes up with the courage to ask questions, I have a few questions. One of the questions that I wanted to ask was, you have a small data set, and I don't know how many versions of banknotes are in Uganda. So the question I have for you is, your system, was it trained for all types of banknotes, or for like one or two select few?
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. So for the training here, we use all denominations, and we sort of use the transfer learning because of the size of the data set, given that it is really very hard to get high resolution counterfeit banknotes. But we're lucky enough to have partnered with some of the financial institutions and obtained some data sets, of which, if you look at the size of the data set and then also the approach we adopted, transfer learning was able to enable us to sort of do this very well. And we have also tried to validate this in the real world as well. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Gadis.
Okay, thank you. I do have two questions. As raised before, your data set is so small, which is you use deep learning, but the data set is so simple, so small. So how you use those data set to train a deep learning? This is my first question. The second one is, have you used a pre-trained models? If so, using pre-trained model and deciding the model is accurate is also, can you say that your model is accurate by training a deep learning with smallest data on the pre-trained model? And my second question is that you say that your work is a detection system, or it is a detection model, and also there is also, you raise that as there is a system or a mobile app. So I need a clarification. Is that your work is a model development or mobile app development or integration of both? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Yes, our application is sort of like an integration of the model into a mobile application. So we wanted to sort of make everyday users to try to use this, especially, for example, people who are at the airport, the Uber drivers, the small businesses, and also even relatively big businesses. So the idea is could they be able to just use their smartphone, take an image at the default resolution of the smartphone camera, and then try to identify this counterfeit? Yes, concerning the data set, yeah, it's relatively small. However, from our experiment, we realized with the data augmentation, we're able to, so if you have like a pre-trained model, which means with your small data set, you can sort of adapt the model to sort of to the data set you have. So which means with deep learning, given that we were able to evaluate a number of models, eventually after doing some sort of testing, ResNet 152 V2 was able to sort of do this kind of task very well. And the real idea of validating this through a mobile application system was that how would it perform in the real world? And if at all, it could sort of do the task. And then definitely the small business could sort of benefit from this. And we have done it in that way. So it means we had the model and then we integrated it into the smartphone application such that even a general user, any user, can sort of just use it. Thanks.
Another question? I have another question for you. So once you made the mobile application, did you give it to the users for validation? Like when I say the users, I mean like bankers.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, we did give, we shared it even with the central bank, and the idea was making it low cost. So for example, this mobile application sort of does the processing on device. So you don't need to connect to internet. So the bank has access to this. Even the border riders, these people who use motorcycles as the everyday sort of activity, business. We did share with a number of them. Thanks.
And how did they like find your did they find your work usable?
Yeah, so for the small businesses, yeah, this was very helpful in a way. If you look at somebody who is not handling large volumes of cash, they were able to sort of easily use this. So in other words, somebody gets into a business, then you sort of receive the cash and you don't trust it, then you can sort of scan it or just take a photo and then it validates. But meanwhile, for the larger businesses that handle, high volumes of cash, this wasn't effective. So that was the feedback we sort of got from people who tried this. But for small businesses, as of today, they're actually using this system. Thanks.
Oh, okay, great. Any other question? Because I'm going to keep asking questions, so I give you the chance. Okay, so the last question I have for you is, again, is with regard to the data set. So usually the banknotes that are in circulation have different level of degradation, right? Once it is out of the bank and once it's in circulation, the notes start to degrade, right? So like what level of degradation did you have in your banknotes? Because even for the other methods like the UV, the magnetic, and the infrared techniques, as the degradation goes higher, detection capability is lowered. So how was that combination in your data set?
Thanks. So one thing we are looking at in the future work is actually to try, for example, get more data sets that are torn, dirty, and very old. So we had few instances, and we tried to capture these images at the various angles. But then one thing we are looking at doing in the future is to try to get more of this. So it means people who, for example, sell charcoal, the kind of notes they handle, you find it, they are dirty. And then there are also notes that are generally old. So that is one of the things we're looking at doing in the future work. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Danish. Any questions? Well, last chance. Okay. Thank you, Danish, for answering the questions and for your work. And I would like to see your further work maybe next year. And so, okay, this would be our last presentation for this session today. So I'm told to tell you that like we are supposed to go to the next room because the event is going to continue in the next room. So there are like other presentations, I think in healthcare or something, so we can go in there and follow them. And the closing ceremony is also going to be conducted in there. Okay, thank you.